Facebook. Go back to yours. Get in yours.
Oh shit.
What?
Oh.
All right. Peace and many
You can go
blessings,
on this one.
family, and welcome to the Spiritual Vault.
Peace family on YouTube. If you're new, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, and like this video if you're really impressed.
Ain't nobody up there writing
No,
nothing.
but it doesn't matter. So when they come on, and
They'll
they
see it.
after they go
Okay.
up, we gotta get them.
All right, y'all. Corey C. Thompson. Corey, the first person we see on here. Many blessings, my brother. I know all is well. How are you? I know I was good. Y'all bear with me because I'm going to be yawning a lot tonight, y'all, okay? Because I'm tired, okay? I'm sleepy. I'm a little bit on the sleepy side. So I'm going to be, yawning tonight. Hey, Vanessa, blessings, okay? I know all is well. Again, welcome you all to the Spiritual Vault. That's right, y'all. And tonight we're going to be talking about Christianity versus let's get it straight.
Rituals in the Bible.
Christian rituals versus African rituals. Okay?
How y'all doing tonight on YouTube? I see y'all coming in here. Appreciate it. Like the video. I already got a like. I appreciate it.
Angel. Blessings, Angel. Angel, ain't you supposed to be contacting me about some things you got to take care of, Angel? You got some things you need to be doing, Angel. Okay? All right. Okay, Corey says, I'm taking care of my mom. Corey, I love to hear that. I commend a man that takes care of his mother. Because, some men have mommy issues, you know what I mean? And, some of them have valid reasons, not valid reasons to ever disrespect their mothers, but valid reasons to maybe not want to take care of them, because I've heard some stories with many of the readings I do, but I commend you for taking care of your mom. I just hope you're not a mama's boy, though.
He is.
You a mama's boy, Corey?
Mama's
Let me
boy.
find out you a mama's boy, Corey. Okay? All right, Shawnee, Tilden, blessings. Blessings. Angel, have friends who should see this video, share with them. All right, y'all, if y'all want to do a watch party, I would love for you to share, and let's do a watch party. Let's see what's going on over there and on YouTube. Who we got on YouTube?
We only got 5 people on right now.
Okay. Y'all coming in because I know y'all want to hear this. Because, see, over the years, okay? Yes, you are, mama's boy. Stop playing. Talking about no. Yes, you are, Corey. Over the years, especially Africans in America, we've had to deal with a lot of, turmoil in reference to whether you want to call it voodoo, hoodoo,
African spirituality.
African religion, whatever you want to call it, okay? With the Christians. Christians always got something to say, and what people don't know is they start it all the time. Oh, that's that voodoo stuff. Oh, that's that voodoo stuff. Or that's that hoodoo. You know what I mean? Or that's them roots. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
but they can't talk now because it's a lot of Christian. It's covenants now. They call themselves Christian witches.
sure.
So, you got
Yep.
Christian witches now. You got Christian witches and Christian witch covenants and stuff like that.
Witch covenants, all kind of stuff going on under the name Jesus or that Bible. You know what I mean?
And what we seen with Spirit, well, especially her, she always tells me things she sees with the Spirit as it relates to the church. And sometimes we'll sit and watch TV, and we'll look at these pastors and stuff like that, and we'll see that they belong to covenants and do rituals themselves. But what happens is a lot of times the Europeans, they really heavy into they'll have you believing that they're heavy into the church, but they're actually tapping into the black people's energy and doing rituals with that. So you gotta keep that type of stuff in mind. A lot of them they go to church, act like they're into the church, but they actually do they actually belong to a covenant also.
Well, this is no secret. It's just like back home in Africa, a lot of Christian pastors or priests come to the traditional healers. Let's not make no secret about it. You understand? And it's the same thing here in America. Christians, but let's take
But they come to us.
right. They come to. That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. But let's make no mistake about it, your family. Like the title says, Christian rituals versus African traditional rituals. Now, I'm going to let Brother think, because he took the notes on that, and then I'm going to get into the African side of it, okay? Because what they need to know, and especially Africans in America, because for years, you know, it was always like, oh, don't mess with that voodoo stuff, oh, don't do this, don't do that, you know what I mean? And the thing about it, behind closed doors, grandma and grandpa and everybody's doing all kind of rituals with Psalms and all kind of rituals to Psalms 92, 3, whatever they be doing in the Bible.
23.
Right, you know, doing rituals and chants with the Bible. But at the end of the day, it's no different than the ritual that an African traditional does. But we're going to share with you tonight.
And they do the same thing with the Quran.
Exactly, with the Quran. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to share with you tonight, family, the rituals in the Bible. Now, for those of you that are Christians, okay? For those of you that are Christians, this is for y'all. I dedicate this to y'all. You know why I dedicate this to y'all? Because you all need to stop pointing the finger. You all need to get out of our faces. You all need to stop playing. And you all need to recognize it for what it is. I always used to say, Jesus was an African indigenous traditional healer. Y'all don't believe me when I tell you. They went over to Africa. They seen our brothers practice the traditional healing and decides to come up with Jesus. Don't say I didn't tell y'all so. When y'all hear what Brother Dink was about to read to you. Now, those who just joined, we're going to be sharing with you Bible scriptures that are rituals.
We're going to give you the Bible verse. Y'all got to look up the scriptures.
Right. Well, yeah, y'all going to look up.
I'll just tell you what they contain, and then y'all can go.
Y'all can look it up for yourselves. But no different than the rituals that they may do in hoodoo, voodoo, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it.
I didn't really have time to really just go in, because I could have pulled up 30 verses, because I used to know the Bible like the back of my hand. Now I done forgot all of that. But I did know. I used to know it, like to the point where people used to argue me and tell me, yeah, that verse ain't in the Bible. And I'd be like, okay, well, get your Bible and I'll show you in your Bible that it's in the Bible. But, you know.
Me find out you was a Christian undercover.
I was a Christian. I wasn't undercover with it.
Yeah, he sure was, family. Sure was.
Yeah. Ain't no shame in my game. But, okay, we're going to start with Leviticus. You know, I'm going to give you a few verses from Leviticus, because Leviticus has rituals all throughout Leviticus. Like, you can just go straight down. You can just read Leviticus and just go all the way in Leviticus, and you'll just see ritual after ritual after ritual after ritual after ritual. I'm getting tongue-tied. But in Leviticus, y'all get y'all pens and papers and write these verses down so y'all could go back and
no, so they could go back when any type of Christian comes at them with some bullshit. Then they can go back and say, "Oh, really? I'm doing the sacrifice of the chicken. Let me show you where it's at in the Bible." That's what this is about, y'all. Okay, go ahead.
So Leviticus chapter 5, verse 12 through 13. It's a forgiveness ritual that they were doing in there, and they're killing animals and sacrificing the animals in there. We got Leviticus 12, 1 through 8, and it talks about in this chapter was kind of, you know, it caught my attention because it talked about women have to give if a woman has a baby that's a male, she's considered unclean. And so she has to give an offering to cleanse herself off. So, and it talks about in that verse, it talks about when a woman is on her cycle, that she is considered unclean, that she can't be touched, and she can't go to any places that are consecrated. So she can't go to an altar. She can't go to a what's considered a holy place back then, like the sanctuaries and stuff like that. She couldn't go to. But it was very interesting because she was considered unclean and dirty until she actually give a offering where they actually it was actually a offering where, you know, where they actually killed the animal and stuff like that. Okay, and then you got In Leviticus 1, 3 through 13, they talk about giving a young bull as an offering, and then they talk about sprinkling the blood around the altar, right? And so that's 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 of them in Leviticus. It's actually about 10 verses where they talk about what type of sacrifice to do, what animal you got to kill, whether it's a bull, whether you got to sacrifice turtle doves, whether you got to kill a lamb, right? In Exodus 29, 38 through 40, they had to they did a offering, they did a ritual offering of a lamb, right? So and they had to give 2 lambs. They had to do an offering at noon and at twilight, and they had to give a drink offering too. So just like in Africa, in Africa they would give a chicken or whatever animal,
Cow or
chicken,
a
cow,
goat
whatever,
or
a goat or something
whatever
like that.
else the God asked for.
Whatever that God asked for, they had to give that, and plus they wanted a drink with that, right? So and then we go ahead and we go to Numbers. Number 6, 14 through 7. That offering is lamb, and they say you got to make sure when you give this offering, this lamb can't have any defects, right? And then you
Gotta be clean.
Yeah, and then what caught my interest in this one, they said they wanted unleavened cakes, so they wanted bread, unleavened cakes in this offering too. So they wanted a blood offering, and they wanted that, and they wanted oils like frankincense and stuff, those type of oils also.
And you tell me they ain't practicing voodoo in the Bible? Shoo.
You know.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
In Luke 12, 1 through 8, they have to make a when the first male comes through a woman's womb, they have to offer 2 turtle doves.
2 turtle doves.
They gotta sacrifice
That's from
2
the
turtle
Christmas
doves.
song,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So also this is another one that caught my interest, right? Mark 1, 40, verse 40 through 44. Jesus, he tells a man after he heals him from leprosy, he tells the man he had to go get cleansed off. You got now that he cleaned him off, he said you gotta go to the priest and have them cleanse you off. Right? So Jesus healed him, but he still had to go get cleansed off.
Tell me they wasn't practicing traditional African medicine.
And I didn't really get into all the types of offerings they did, but they had a guilt offering, right? The guilt offering was basically like sort of like what the Jewish people do now. Like they'll go and do their sacrifices and ask God to forgive them, right? They will ask God to forgive them at the beginning of the year before, because they know they're going to be doing a whole bunch of illegal shit. And so it's things that are considered a sin. They're going to go ask for forgiveness before they do it. But they're still going to do it. They're just going to ask for forgiveness before they do it. That's called a guilt offering. Then they got what they call a sin offering in the Bible, right? The sin offering is what we call what they call a purification offering, right? So you giving a offering of and you asking somebody to be cleansed off.
Cleanse you of your sins.
Yeah, cleanse you off. And then they got the burnt offering, right?
Wait, hold on. That's sort of like giving an ebo, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of like an ephah when they'll give an ebo. When ephah reads it, say, okay, well, you need this, you need that. You know what I mean? It's sort of, it's not just like it, but sort of like it. But go ahead.
And then the last one that I wrote down was the peace offering. Now, the peace offering is interesting because the peace offering, if it's a peace offering to bring you peace or to remove things out of your way, you have to give a animal sacrifice, and it either consists of a bull, a sheep, a goat, a cow, and then or it could even be of a ram, right? And you got to give that along with you got to give bread, unleavened bread.
Y'all hear that? A ram, a bull, a cow. Now, in African traditions back home in Africa, when you're performing big ceremonies, okay, you all have seen it on YouTube. If not, go research it. These same type of animals are giving, okay, for sacrifice. Now, let me just say this: in Africa, it's done the civilized way, which means we always ask for permission before we even give these animals, and every part of the animal is used, okay, is used. But now we got 19 people on YouTube. We got 11 people on Facebook. Let me say this real quick. Now, Rashawn Thornton, we're really not into this like this. We're just because we're African indigenous traditional healers. We just wanted to bring this to the light because a lot of Christians try to come and talk junk to us and y'all doing that voodoo stuff. So we had to bring out that Christians have rituals in the Bible too. Okay, so but thank you for the information. He says if anybody wants to know about more about this, you can go to www abibitumi.com, where you can do the primary research when we're not really interested because I'm always going to be African and traditional. Okay, and at the end of the day, we're just giving the information to the people because people want to know. Mm-hmm. So when they want to know, you give them information to add to their knowledge data bank. But Brother Dick is going to continue.
No, I'm basically finished with my notes. But it's so many rituals that I couldn't even get to them like I really wanted to. I didn't have time to delve into it. But as you can see, all of them do the same things we do. It's been rituals where I had to do some of these, back a while back where I had to do some of these, where I had to sprinkle the blood of the animal on the altar and stuff like that. They were doing the same thing.
No different. Voodoo Christians, okay? Yeah, I'm being a smart ass because you know what? They be the main ones who come after us. And even over in Africa, we do know that Africa was colonized, especially Nigeria. They got a big statue of a white Jesus in Nigeria. And I get so disappointed, with my brothers and sisters. I have cousins in Lagos, right? And, it's like you go to Lagos and it looks like, they got a huge white Jesus. Like, come on, in the land, in the motherland, you got the nerve to put up a white Jesus? Y'all should know better. You know what I mean? Y'all should know better. But, in Africa, it's even worse what people don't know. When you got Christians and then you got the traditional healers in Africa, right? Mm-hmm. You got a lot of conflict, okay? Yeah. You got conflicts of socio-religious. You got ideological, physical, and political characters, and it's a mess over in Africa and especially in Nigeria with the traditional healers and with the Christians, okay? You had the missionaries that were coming into Nigeria, I think in the early 70s and the 60s, that were coming in sneaking and lying and setting up Bible schools and all kind of stuff. And then you had the traditional healers that wasn't having it. They wasn't trying to join that nonsense. They was like, no. So the conflict is even bigger over in Africa than it is here. Because you got to remember, Africans in America pretty much were brainwashed, but I would say at least 5 or 4 generations back, during slavery when they gave them the Bible. But before that, before that, none of that was part of their, traditions. But over in Africa, back home in Africa, it's conflict. The healers and the Christians. Although I've spoken to some of our brothers and sisters over in Nigeria, in Lagos, that were pastors and the traditional healers, that they were still going. The pastors and the Christian people were still going to the Dibia and what you call the traditional healers in the background. Okay. So they still slick going to get spiritual work done from the Dibias.
Yeah, you still advertising on your page.
Okay. Who?
But yeah, like I said, it's no different than what we as traditional healers do, And then now, even with that, even today, like a lot of Christians that you have Christian witches. They don't even a lot of them don't do the sacrifices where they're killing animals, but they do a lot of candle work. And then what they do is they pray over the candle, and they get their herbs and they do their oils and stuff like that, and then they say Bible verse rituals over the over whatever they're working over. Right? Mm-hmm. You wanna go ahead?
Okay. Let me see.
What else you want to talk about? But So a lot of times, we get a lot of people, that always they come at us sideways with, oh, you into this, you into that, and then we have to point out a lot of things that they do. You know, a lot of things that they do are either stolen from African legacy, right? Because what I'm getting at is when what I was getting a lot of this was when I was reading the rituals and the things that they were doing. It sounds like, how Wunam, my wife always says, she always says, the Bible is African folklore. It's plagiarized, and what else you say?
The Bible is African folklore, plagiarized lies and truth.
That's right. So a lot of things that they got in here, they actually got them from the African, not the other way around.
Hmm.
So, that's a problem that I have with a lot of times when I watch these history channels. They always act surprised when there's things that are so ancient in Africa that the European does, because they don't talk about the fact that their ancestors and the colonizers that came into Africa wasn't doing these things. They act like that they brought that and civilized the African when it was the other way around. Just like in the same sense as when they talk about the Europe and stuff like that. With the Moors had to go into Europe and civilize Europe. So it's no different than that. We are a people that don't really know our history, where we come from, and so a lot of times we get too caught up in the things that people that work so very hard to oppress us, that we just focus on what they're doing, their system of belief and their culture, and we just really fall out of whack with what we're supposed to be doing. That's why a lot of times a lot of us don't even know we're supposed to be doing spiritual work in the first place.
All right. Rashawn Thornton says, black salutely. Okay. I am an Akan, and this year all goes back to Kemet. The Hyksos Amu were in Kemet for a time, and when they were chased out by King Amos, they took a tradition with them and fused it with other stuff they learned along the way to create what we know as Judaism. This is all historical record. I'm very familiar. That's one of my initiations. Rashawn, is a Khan, but it's a little bit more to me than that. I was born into a tradition, because you can get initiated or training with other traditions. Okay, now talk to us here. Okay, peace, God and goddesses, peace, family. All right, so let's go on by King Amos, circa 1718 dynasty. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for that. All right, family, we're talking about the Christian rituals that versus the traditional rituals, which is really no different. Okay, as Brother Dinko just said, I am always telling people the Bible is African folklore, plagiarism, lies, truth. You understand? And also, if you go back and you look at Dr. Henry Clark, he told you the same thing. Okay, he educated us. Him and Dr. Ben educated us on the fact that they went way back. Especially Dr. Ben went way back to Kemet. You know what I mean? Showing us the truth about who we really was and where we came from. But for the most part, we got a lot of information from some of our elder scholars. And what we got to realize when we read that Bible, Christians understand this. Because see, one of the issues is most Christians don't even know the Bible. They remember scriptures from going to church. Or they sure do remember Psalms, because those are the Psalms that they pray when they want to do rituals.
Yeah.
Oh, pray Psalms 123, Psalms 92, get 9, you know what I mean? All this good stuff they're telling you to do. That's a ritual. You ain't doing nothing different than we're doing.
And that's what people fail to realize when they go to church. And the pastor's standing over there and he's doing like this and he's praying. He's going, and he's
talking in demon tongues.
Talking in tongue and saying these things that you don't know what he's saying. He's actually laying a spell on you. I remember a couple of years ago, it was a pastor. It was a video circulating on Facebook. He was the pastor lined up about 20 people, right? 20 people. He made them all get on their knees, right? And then he was doing a controlling ritual over. I'm watching it, right? I'm watching it. He's doing a controlling ritual on. He's getting water and he's spitting it right in their mouth. He going all the way down the line. It's about 20 people. And there was this one black man on the end.
That's disgusting.
On the end. And he was like this. And then he looked and he see they was spitting in his mouth. And he wanted to get up, but then the camera was pointing right at him, so he just stayed there with his mouth open, and the preacher spit water in his mouth.
I want to
It was
spit. You spitting that goddamn thing in my mouth. I don't think so.
Oh man, I was crying.
I don't think
laughing.
so.
It was I don't know who the pastor was, but the black guy was like, "Oh damn, they got me," and he just sat there with
Well,
his
they got
mouth open,
nothing. But like,
and
you,
they spit in
nah.
his mouth. They spit water in his mouth, but he was doing a controlling ritual over them
That's nasty. That's just plain disgusting. That's nasty.
to make them, come out their pocketbook.
Amber Smith says, I grew up in the church with a mother evangelist casting demons out of people. Yeah, Amber Smith, go see the one I did the other day. Go look on my YouTube page. We did one the other day. Okay. All right. So what? Somebody said something over here. Sonia Brooks says, I feel like you have to contact with your ancestors and higher consciousness to get a real understanding of what is going on around you. You know, I'm gonna say this.
Just get it.
Who's going with you? Okay. All right. So let me just say this, family. It's just time. See, the thing about it is Africans in America need to learn their their original culture, okay? Some of us wasn't blessed. Like my mother's side was from Africa, so we had African home. You know what I mean? It was no other choice. We had to speak it, cook it, do it. Then we had to do everything African. Now, my father's side was African in America, right? Sort of like Black Panther type of thing. You know what I mean? So anyway, we're saying that now it's time. Now the elders in Africa alerted me years ago, say, you have to awaken the people. Africans in America, they need to learn their traditions, their original culture, okay? So we're saying that, Sonia Brooks, it's just time because we were stripped of our cultural ways. Now, somebody told, who was it, Brother Samin was, oh, well, what if I wasn't in Africa? What if I was here? Every African in America, whether we was on this land or not, okay, if y'all want to be technical about it, has African blood. I don't care what you say, how you put it. I don't give a goddamn if you was on the land called America, because at one time we do know this was a landmass. So we're saying that you still have African blood. So Africans in America are truly mixed up, for one, because there's different tribes that migrated over here, okay? Not everybody came on a slave ship. We do know that, and we're not even getting into the analytics of that. I don't want to do all that. What we're saying is it's time for you all to know. For many, many years, you've been brainwashed and programmed. You never knew that you had power. As I told you all last week, there was a survey that was performed, and this survey says that 65% of Americans viewed Africans in America as magical, or black people. They said black people, magical and mysterious, which means they think we some magical goddamn folks. That's why we probably so hated, because we have obviously some type of power or some type of whatever we got as black people. They say that we're magical and mysterious. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Okay, now Odunlami, okay, we don't mind you coming in here. We're going to promote African traditions, okay? You can come in and make comments, all right?
Just don't promote your
Just
stuff
don't
without
promote
asking.
your stuff on here without asking, okay? Don't do that, because that's not right. That's not righteous. Bakume madre no ku, okay? Now, go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to find Psalms 33. 23. Man, I lost my train of thought. Let me go back to the because I want to read. I was trying to get to this.
Okay, Adeku. Odeku. Tell me. Talk about Bishop Charles Mason, who started the Kojic Church.
I guess it's supposed to be Gnostic Church.
No, he spelled it Cogic.
Oh.
Kojic Church? What is that? Tell us about it. I'll see what I see with him. That's what I do. Okay? That's what I do. I am a traditional healer. I'm the 5th generation from my maternal side. So I see, I heal, I do rituals, I do everything. But Let's see. Let's look at this guy. What is he about? Who is he about? I don't know about it. Go ahead.
Patai Hotep says, I feel the communion is a ritual as well, drinking the blood and eating the body of the Christ.
It is.
It is, yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
Oh, it's the Church of God in Christ.
Okay, I don't know who he is, and I can't speak up, but I could tell you what I see. I could tell you that see spiritually that he's about his money, that he's not serious about what he does. I see that it's all a business for him. That's what my spirits is showing me.
Yeah.
Okay.
501c3.
Okay. All right.
Sonya Brooks says religion is programming, in my opinion.
Well, you know, Sonia Brooks, you make a good point. But see, let me tell you the difference. Now, okay, I wanted to share this because you have Jesus. You understand? You got the one God, okay? Now, it's programming, but you know what they did is they just kind of plagiarized some stuff, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we have over 3,000 tribes in Africa, okay? Now, we're saying that we have many, many gods that we call upon, right? Many gods that we call upon. If I did, I can't see it.
Can't see it right now.
Right now because we're on air. Okay, Melissa? But we have many gods. So, you know, you have your supreme God, right? So, depending on what tribe you're from. Now, you all are familiar with Yoruba. Most Americans like Yoruba. So, you're talking about Odulamare, right? And then you have, you know, certain other tribe in Igbo. What you're talking about is the Chukwu, right? That's their supreme God. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's their supreme God. And then in my tribe, we have the Wunam, okay, which is, you know, our supreme God. So we're saying that each tribe has their own gods. Now, Christianity, I guess they try to call themselves copying that or plagiarizing that because you got Jesus, the Father, and then you got the disciples, right? So we're saying that just like in Africa, we got gods of different gods of water. We've got gods of you know, thunder. We've got gods of the earth. You know, different gods that we have. But see, the difference between ours is ours have everything to do with earth. Yeah, we have our, but the lower level deities have to do with earth. You got your spirit, your bush gods. You got your land gods. You got your, you know what I mean? Your river gods, you know?
Your water gods.
Right.
Your
So
ocean gods, your sea gods.
sea gods, right.
Yeah.
You have so many gods.
Tree gods.
Tree gods,
yeah,
right.
Like you said, the forest gods.
Right. And see in the Bible, you know, they kind of just, you know, place them with disciples, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Moses and Joseph and whatever else that's in the Bible, y'all.
Okay, C. Thomas says, a ritual we were made to do as children was kneel at the altar and chant Jesus for hours. I hated it and never got anything from it.
Who said that?
C. Thomas.
See, Thomas, you know, that's why we're doing this show, because it's time for Africans in America to start learning about their cultural ways, okay? It's very important to learn about your cultural ways.
Yeah, Kim Smith said Charles Mason created the Church of God in Christ or whatever, and he was said to be a spiritual worker.
I might have to do some research on that. I don't really like this, you know, but I still felt like Charles Mason, something not right. I'm going to say ancestors, something not right with Charles Mason mind, okay? I just, you know, but I'll do further research and then we can come back and talk about it, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. They have us worshiping their Eurasian ancestors and we don't even know it. They have you worshiping their Eurasian ancestors.
But also too, like we as a lot of black people, they go beyond. They just go above and beyond to get into anything that's not of their culture. They'll go to the Hindu.
Yep.
They'll do the Hindu faith. They'll do
Buddha.
They'll do Buddhism. They'll you know they'll pray to Kaliman. You know
They'll
what I'm
pray
saying?
yeah.
So it's like, but then they'll try to say, oh well. Don't come to me about doing no African stuff because you know, they feel like that's beneath them. But everybody got their stuff from them. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a spinoff of what we created.
You know, Kim Smith, are y'all talking about Charles Manson? If y'all, I think that's who y'all talking about, Charles Manson. If I'm mistaken, correct me. I think Charles Manson. Now, if you're speaking of Charles Manson still has some physical influence, but Charles Manson was a true spiritual healer. I don't know if he has some lineage back to Africa, but he was a true seer. Right.
Lewis McKinnon says, Queen, how about the so-called black Indians?
What about the black Indians?
I get they do got African blood.
Right. The black Indians
whether
have.
they were here out the whole time or not, because everybody came from, you got, like she said, everybody was from one landmass. That's why the DNA matches up with this tribe over here, and they across the water. And you know, you understand?
Let me make this clear, everybody. You're black Indians, okay? A lot of people, if you look at certain was black man from, okay. Okay, no, I don't know who you're talking about then. We'll research that. But if you look at the you got the Almacs, you have the Mexicans, you have the Peruvians, you have and the American Indians pretty much had them chinky eyes, certain looks about them. Well, let me make this clear to you all. Every tribe or person that you see that has sort of that kind of look to them is all coming from the Khoisan tribe in Africa, which is the oldest tribe in the world. Okay, now their DNA is connected to this actual tribe, the Khoisan tribe. If you look at the Khoisan, you look at your Indians, your American Indians, okay? Then you got to remember, then you had your darker skin, African brothers and sisters. But what we got to realize, if you go to the Khoisans, they look straight Asian. That's where you're Asian. All these people have that look to them. They definitely come or have a lineage that traces to the Khoisan tribe. Well, now, let's speak of the black American Indians. You all have to remember, when they were brought here, when they walked on this actual land, and many other places across the world, they lost a lot of their traditions, okay? They lost a lot of their traditions. And what you all don't know is that they begin to create their own gods and their own, you know what I mean? Because right here in America, Africans in America have their own gods. We're talking about certain gods that you all need to be summoning right now in America, okay, that you can call upon. Yeah. Because what they did is they actually began to manifest these gods. The American Indians began to manifest these gods in America. Okay, so they sort of kind of, lost some of that history of their original culture when they was over on that land mass over there in Africa. Okay,
yeah. I know one of the Bible verses that we was talking about, Psalms 27. That's the Bible verse that people like when they do hoodoo. They like to write it. They like to write this Bible verse out. And then they put it in their shoe if they want somebody to leave their life or leave a job and stuff like that. They'll put hot powder and all that stuff in it. Now,
I want to say this to people what they don't understand. If your rituals work, okay, because in Africa we have a saying that the shrine is in you.
That's right.
You are the power. Without you, these spirits can't work. Without the offerings, these gods or goddesses or half gods can't work. Without these things, they cannot work. We have to put in the work to make them work. We have to give them offering. We have to give them certain sacrifice. We have to give them certain things, right? So we're saying that when people are doing hoodoo, first of all, you heard what I said earlier. They said that black people, I don't care if you was an African in Africa, African in Jamaica, African in Europe, are magical and mystical people. There's something in our DNA that makes us able to be or have a certain power, right?
Melanin.
Okay. Now, we're saying that what we got to understand is that at the end of the day, because the people lost their traditions. Like, okay, so they went over from Haiti. Theirs came from Benin, Africa, right? So the Haiti, they came from Benin, Africa, and they started practicing some of the traditions. But even with the Haitian people, some of their gods may be similar to Europe, but the names are different because when they migrated during slavery, they forgot some of their history. Okay, Alafia, my brother Sango Wale. I know all is well. I'll be calling you soon. Okay, go ahead.
C. Thomas says, I'm both African and Indian. My paternal side, great grandmother was full Cherokee. My maternal grandfather, about 5 or 6 generations, was back Igbo from Kabar, Nigeria, West Africa, but I haven't been able to connect either yet.
See, Thomas, I'm going to say it again. Okay? Your Indian side still is African. Don't get it confused. Remember, go back and go to the Khoisan tribe in Africa, in South Africa. The oldest tribe, African tribe in the world, is where your Indian migrated from. So, I guess because I'm going to always be a true African, I have a problem with people just don't wanting to be African. They want to be everything else, but they don't want to be African. Why? We are the most beautiful, beautiful culture in this world. And the thing about it, we come in diverse colors. It's funny because I remember years ago I was attending an event. And, I was dressed regular. I didn't have any African stuff on, any garb on, everything like that. And, this guy came up to me. He said, well, you're not African. First of all, you're too light. I said, excuse me? I said, what? And
that's a misconception.
Right, but it was crazy because I looked at him. I said, so what is an African supposed to look like? I said, oh, I'm supposed to be dark skinned, or what is your idea of an African? I said, have you ever been to Africa? He said, no. I said, did you know there's over 3,000 tribes in Africa, right? I said, do you know that there's Asian looking Africans, white looking Africans, light skinned, caramel, whatever, many different Africans in Africa. So he goes, yeah, but I don't know. I said, and then I started speaking my tribal tongue, where we come from, a Cabo Verde, right? So then I said, do you want some African food? Because I cook African food too. I said, I don't have to dress in African garb for me to be African.
Okay, Thomas Martin says, Matthew 7, verse 16, by their fruits you shall know them. Thus blessed Virgin Mary was immaculate conceived, because the fruits of her womb is the holiest of holies, Jesus Christ. That's not true, because Jesus' mama was a whore. Or, like they say, how can Jesus had an older brother. How could she be the first one? And then when you start getting in a translation of that, when they say she was a virgin, that means she was unmarried. So it has nothing to do with her not being penetrated by a man. So you gotta, I know,
right, that
you believe whatever you believe in the Bible. That's cool, but do your research.
Was he just stating that, or
I don't know if he was being funny. It's all good. You can make your comments. That's fine. I even read them on air, but just know what you're talking about when you make
Thank you, Adeku. I'm West African too. Thank you, Adeku. All right. So
Candy Rain says, greetings, sister. Wunam and Brother Adinkra.
Greetings, Candy Rain. Candy Rain, I had a dream about you last night. I had a dream you had a baby girl, and I had a dream you was breastfeeding her, but I was trying to find you in the dream, and your husband was in the dream. I was going to text you today and tell you that, but I didn't get a chance because I was busy, but I dreamt about you having a baby girl. Okay? All right, family, do we have any questions now that you know that there are rituals that they do in the Bible as we do in African traditions? Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, put them in the chat. YouTube, Facebook, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Okay? Put them in the chat. And, people, they got to understand, you guys...
Don't just read the Bible, know the Bible.
Well, in this day and time, you might not even want to know the Bible.
I'm just saying, if you want to come talk to people about the Bible. Because now people are so educated, they know more than the person that's preaching. They actually know more than the pastor, most of them.
Exactly. Start going outside, and you all really, that's really, because a lot of people are running out of the churches, okay? And you all that are really interested, start calling on your ancestors, okay? Start summoning some of these gods here in America, because like in Africa, we got different gods. Mm-hmm. Tree gods, water gods, earth gods, sea gods, all kind of gods, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and talk to your ancestors, talk to the ancestors.
Right, so they can show that the ancestors was on this land, especially if you want to call yourself American Indian. Talk to the ancestors on this land and tell them to share the vision of the gods that were used by the so-called Indians, which are Africans, okay? And start learning the gods on this land right here. Because years ago, it was revealed to me that they were gods that they used on this land.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys that other cultures reverence are actually African gods too. When you start, like, if you can see, you'll see that that lineage, that somehow that God was brought from Africa over here that other people don't even realize.
You know, I think Deku says, I think the Bible is based off of Ghanaian culture. Really? You think so? You think so? How? How so? Kim Smith says, I hope I'm not getting off the topic. Once leaving the church, it's a feeling. Once leaving the church, it's a feeling of freedom, but afterwards, it's a depressing. Can you explain why? It's a probably because they put a spell on you in the church because they do that too,
Yeah.
making you want to come back. They do that too. Yes, the pastor and the pastors and the wives and all that do rituals in the church, and they put spells on you that you are unaware of. So
Even the Catholic Church, because like when you're in the church, like the Catholic Church, and they're speaking Latin, you better get out of that church because
that's demon,
that
disagreeable spirits.
one thing I know that the Latin language, they made it a dead language because you could summon spirits with that, with the tonal frequencies of that language. So a lot of times, you know, I wouldn't be in the church where they spoke Latin, because if I don't understand what they're saying, I don't want to be a part. I wouldn't worry about it for me, because they probably would get attacked right away once they try to do something like that. But you just don't, if you know you don't want to be in stuff like, you don't want to be in put yourself in a situation like that.
Let me add to that. You probably feel depressed because, you know, there's a certain energy that's presented in the churches. Now, as they like to say about us African traditional healers or people that do a voodoo hoodoo, whatever you want to call it, it's sort of like, you know, I feel like demons are in the church, okay? So these demons are basically making you feel like you need to come back to their demonized, you know, area and their home, okay?
Especially
so
if they're running around slobbing out the mouth, talking about
exactly, speaking in tongues and everything else. Now, with saying that, you know, I will say this: the energy that people, especially black people, okay, present in church is a very powerful inyama, okay? Very powerful energy. It's a natural energy that we have. You understand? And also, too, you got to realize some of the most powerful witches are in the churches, okay? They're in the churches. So, with saying that, a lot of people don't even know who they are or what they're about. You got powerful traditional healers that's in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Unbeknownst to them, you know, themselves, they don't know that they're really healers. So a lot of energy in the church is basically channeled through Jesus and God, when it really should be channeled through your own crown of your head and your body and your soul, okay?
Candy Rain says, "Yay, I had a dream about having my baby girl. I actually feel her around me."
Oh, so you had a dream too. So maybe that's confirmation, Candy Rain. I had a dream last night. You had a baby girl, and she was a chubby little thing. She was so cute with a lot of hair. Okay, so you might be having one coming soon. All right, can we explain what means entail? Now, what I mean by that too, you have to remember, okay, disagreeable spirits are rampant right now, or what you call demons, okay? And they are attaching themselves. I got a call from a sister last night that told me she was being molested by a demon in her bedroom, okay?
And it's real.
She said, real talk, y'all, I don't mention names, I just tell the story, okay? She said this demon was touching her and you know, rubbing on her, okay? And she said this demon, okay, was having sex with her, but it wasn't like penetration, it was a vibration. She said that was better than an orgasm. And I'm like, I'm like, shit, what kind of goddamn demon is that? I got to research that. But you know, at the end of the day, now, there's a spiritual warfare.
Mm-hmm.
And when the portal was open, they came flying down. But not only do we have disagreeable spirit, as we call them in Africa, we have demon, disagreeable spirit, beings that coming from other planets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're having these beings that also have the power to be invisible. So you're talking about we're in a serious spiritual warfare now, which means that if you are spiritual, I like to say, and you're a highly spiritual, especially if you're a traditional healer or if you're a seer or if you're into the traditions, voodoo, hoodoo, whatever you're going to be the first one to be attacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come at you. I see them in here. They be
Yeah.
trying, but I be like, get your asses out of here. Get out of here. I'm not in the mood. I will be cussing them out in my sleep, right?
She cuss about. She be
Right?
cussing about, man.
I cuss, get out the room. You know what I mean? I do not play because I don't like demons. The one that okay, if you all did not see the video, go look at the video on YouTube. The one that we encountered last week, I'm thinking it was a gargoyle, but when I went back and I looked at this demon, it was a serpent demon that was in this man. And when I was looking at his eyes, the demon tried to outstand me, y'all. When I tell you, it made me angry and angry as I was getting mad. Then the demon started leaving his body. Then you see his eyes go back, and you know what I mean? And I'm like, we ain't tolerating this. No, we don't like demons. We don't do demons. I don't like them. So they'll come because they know we're spiritual. They're gonna test you. They're gonna play. They're gonna scratch you, scratch you, and do all kind of stuff to you. So you're probably encountering the energy of a disagreeable spirit, Kim, and it's making you feel like, oh, I got to go back to church because I'm not in the church. It's depressing me. And, it was God, the word of God and Jesus that was helping me. All that great stuff. Shut it down because the demons are in the churches.
All right. Hold on. Let me see. Candy Rain says Christian witches and warlocks are real. C. Thomas says the shock of having been lied to is what depressed and made me angry. Then I realized they are ignorant and most of them have no idea what they are into.
Well,
read one. I got a bunch of them now.
All right, we'll go back. Okay. Now, Adeko says, from my understanding, using the Yoruba culture understanding, Odulamare equals Jehovah, Lord Orishas, Holy Spirits, and Ogun ancestors. You know what? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's what they try to say, right? Yeah, I don't know about that. You know what? As a matter of fact, I don't really like to equate that with that because I know there was a lot of plagiarism in the Bible that was taken from original African culture. I mean, I guess one could say that or assume that, okay?
Kentora Miller says, when you leave the church, then you have to do your own work. It's no more being spoon-fed, taught or what to think and act. You're not in a box anymore.
Well, at the end of the day, in African traditions, we have training over the years, many, many years that we have to be trained. In African traditions, your elders know when the baby is born which one is going to be the next seer, the next diviner, the next healer. So in our culture, in African culture, we're it's not that you're in a box, but you are trained the proper way.
When you leave the church.
Oh, yeah,
when
right.
you leave the church, you're being spoon-fed and told what to think.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true to a certain extent, but they don't follow that. That's how come you see half of them be in the church on Sunday and the club on Friday.
Half of them be calling us on Saturday and Monday.
Yeah, to get rituals done. Oh, can you take him from him?
I need my husband to leave this woman alone that's in the church.
Yeah, we had a call like that the other day, and I was a little disappointed because I'm very, very big on doing what's righteous, right? The ancestors didn't give us these gifts to do what's unrighteous, to do what's right. Okay, that doesn't mean we don't believe in divine intervention or divine justice, which means if you're doing evil or you're doing unrighteous work, you have to fight a spiritual war. It is what it is. But for the most part, we don't do unrighteous things. Don't ask us to go take nobody against their will. Don't take nobody's husband or nobody's wife. We ain't doing it.
Buck 50 says, y'all are right. Eshu translate into Hindu as Gana Eshu, a.k.a. Ganesh, the road opener, the Lord of victory. Oh, hold on. It popped up. Hold on. What the? Hold on. The Lord of victory. To win or be victorious in Spanish is Ganar. Also, if you take the word Jesus and take out the J and the S at the end, you get Eshu.
Exactly.
Because you gotta remember, Eshu. They say Eshu owns the cross or the crossroads and stuff like that too.
Well, Michelle Lauren, the Bible has some truth in it. It has some African folklore in there as well. So when we look at the Bible, I like to tell people to read the Bible from back to front. from back to front so you'll get a greater understanding. And what the Bible is African folklore, plagiarism, lies, and some truth, because we just talked about the rituals that are done in the Bible. If you look at the rituals and you hear the rituals that are posed in these scriptures, you'll hear some of the rituals we do in African traditions.
All right. Thank you for the donation, Eccentric Me Channel. Greetings, all. My mom will be coming to visit soon. How do I protect my home from her Christian prayers?
Well, one of the things we always want to do is we want to respect our elders. That's your mother, okay? You want to respect her, but I also feel that she must respect what you do too. Let her pray. It's not going to harm you, okay? Yes, does she have power? Yes, a praying mother has power because she is a powerful enyama, energy, okay? Or as in some say in Yoruba, ashe. But let me explain something to you. You do have a talk with your mother and ask her that she respects your personal no's. I like to say no's, not beliefs. And, if she wants to pray, let her be. She'll be, nothing's going to happen. It's fine, okay? Usually when it comes to the elders, I don't argue. I don't debate with them. I always respect my elders. I have my stepfather who's saying, you need to come to the kingdom. You need that. And I'll just listen. I'll say, Papa, it's okay. It's okay. I'll be like, okay.
The smoke out the house when they leave.
Well, it's her mother, though.
When she leave.
When she leave, yeah, you can smoke out the house.
Be bringing energy into the house, praying in the house, and all of that stuff.
Well, I mean, you got energy, too. Just call on your ancestors to be in the house with you. And really, honestly speaking, just ask for peace and harmony to reign amongst you and your mother. Ask the ancestors to bring the peace and harmony. Keep it at peace because that's still your mother, okay?
Louis McKenna says, can we come from here and not Africa? Just asking.
Louis McKenna.
He said, I'm a seer, remember?
Okay, well, what do you see, Louis McKenna? What do you see? Can you come from here?
Queen?
Yeah, I don't remember nothing because I read 1 million people a day, or I do traditional healing and work for many, many people across the world. Real talk. Let me explain something to you. This was one landmass at one time. It's very possible that we walked over here when it split up during the continental drift, and that Africans were here on America. Yes, very true. As a matter of fact, Ivan Van Sertima gives you the history of it in his book, Before Columbus. So, yes, it's very true. But that does not mean you still do not have African blood in your system. The first human being was an African. So, everybody, even white folks, they say it. The research shows it. Y'all remember the article in Ebony magazine where they show Eve, according to their thing, was a black woman? You know what I mean? Come on now.
And a white man. Remember they did they redid the Newsweek magazine that had Adam and Eve. They had it a black woman and a white man. It, but his history is not as long as ours on this earth. But that's another story.
Another whole story. Okay. Any more questions on YouTube?
She says when reading from back, I guess she's talking about the Bible. I don't know. I guess she meant when reading from back for we.
When reading from back to front, we start from the last page and from the last book of the Bible. From the very last page of Revelations.
Yeah, you read it backwards.
Read it backwards. And when you read it backwards, you're going to get an understanding, right? They say the Bible is the most, the highest sold book in America or around the world. And then the Quran comes next. Did y'all ever hear that?
That's what they say.
You know what traditional healers' Bibles are? What's traditional healers' Bible, brother, think?
It depends on the where they come from. Some of it's just their ancestors, what they left them, and then what they give them when they going into spirit and learning.
You know what our Bible is? The earth, nature.
Yep.
Right, that's our Bible, okay? Nature to the fullest. Water, air, fire, earth. You understand? That's our Bible.
Yeah, because even in Africa, in some parts of Nigeria, a lot of the traditional healers, they'll go into the bush for like 10, 12, 13 years. And the spirits in the bush,
nature will teach them.
and that's how they become so like really powerful priests and stuff like that.
Question: being that you lived in Africa, did you ever see a Bible wrote in your language? No. Let me tell you this: the Bible, the only other language it was written in was Hebrew. Now I
And Greek,
believe,
I
and
think Greek.
right now I believe that with the Jehovah Witness and in some parts of Africa where they colonized with Christianity, they have translated in their language. But you do know there's 1,026 different copies of the Bible, okay? With saying that, there are different translations, so it depends on where. Some places in Africa, they have to translate to the people there. I know the Jehovah Witnesses do that. They have different copies and translations and, you know what I mean, of the Bible, okay?
Um, Eccentric Me says, "Laugh out loud, thank you. I was about to book her a room in the Holiday Inn."
Essentially, me, that's not right. That's not right. Don't do that because we're very, very big in Africa on respecting our mothers, right? Okay?
See, Thomas says,
Don't book a hotel. Your mother should never have to sleep in a hotel. Never.
Pangea was the time when the land was one, so black people were all over the earth.
Exactly. Thank you for answering that. You heard that, Lewis McCannon? The seer.
And
All
the
right.
Bible is one of the largest book of spells. See Thomas.
See, Thomas, we just gave you some of the spells. That's why I said no Christian in their right mind has the nerve to talk about a traditional healer. And the sacrifices and the offerings and all that we give to our gods and our goddesses and our spirits and our God, well, your ancestors, they can't talk about us because it's right in their Bible. And if Christians really followed their Bible, they would continue the traditions. You know what they'll say? Oh, that was in the Old Testament. Well, who
Yeah.
told you to make the goddamn New Testament? Who asked you? All I'm going to say, family, is we want to thank you for tuning in. We want to thank you for tuning in to this show. And hope you enjoyed it. And hope you learned some things tonight. I hope you added it to your knowledge data bank, okay?
Subscribe and hit the notification bell and like the video.
For those who are on Facebook, we got this month of February is going to be our last month on Facebook. Y'all got to come over to YouTube and hang out with us. Come over to YouTube and hang out with us and check out all of our other shows. We changed the Spiritual Seeing News to the Spiritual Vote. So right now you are watching the Spiritual Vote. We got Oracles of Truth under the Spiritual Vote. We got the Bomb Moms Chronicle show. They're doing their thing. And then we have the Tribe of Wunam, which is going to show us vlogging daily. Y'all can see, me yelling at the kids and getting on the kids and all of that, okay? Now, we're saying that, family, do check out our other shows. We just did a show the other day, Oracles of Truth. You got the Bomb Moms, who was on Friday. And then you have
The Tribe of Wunam.
the Tribe of Wunam, where you can see daily things. You can see us shopping. You can see our kids. You can see me going off on the kids, grown-ass kids, okay? You can see a lot of things on the show, okay?
And if those of you that missed the exorcism that we put up, I'm gonna put the link to it in the description of this video. So tomorrow it'll be there, so y'all could come back on YouTube and y'all could check it out if y'all missed it.
Exactly. Why don't you sign up for a YouTube account? It's easy. All you need is your email. Go sign up for a YouTube account. Yeah, sign up for a YouTube account. Because we've been doing both. But, after a while it gets monotonous and you just got to set up both cameras. And blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, y'all, after this month, we're going straight to YouTube. So, y'all going to come hang out with us on YouTube because you get to see all of our shows in one spot. Okay?
That's right.
That's what we really want. So, when we do shows, you will see them in order and you will see them in one spot. So, here on Facebook, they're spread out. And, okay? So, go ahead, Adeko, and go sign up for YouTube. Not hard. Subscribe to our page. Hit the bell. Hit all notifications that we, because when the show comes on, it'll email you and it'll let you know when we're on there. Okay.
It'll actually come up on your phone so you can see it.
Right. It'll pop up on your phone. Okay.
And we'll be posting videos every day on YouTube anyway.
Right.
So.
Any more questions there?
No more questions. No more questions for the night, fam.
If we don't have no more questions, I'm tired. I'm about to get off of here. Okay? You're welcome. It's definitely eye opener. Peace and love, family. And it's time to go. Gotta get off of here. It's time to go to bed, y'all.
All
Y'all
right.
have a lovely night. Peace and many blessings.
Peace.